Hi everybody, Eve Everett here, and this time around we're going to talk about what's sold on eBay. Easy to find smalls, sewing items, vintage fabric, and more. Oh, and don't forget Ralph Lauren, of course. But first, a few minor points of interest. I went to a Craigslist ad of a person who was selling a few things that I was interested in. And I was walking down the street to go to this person's house, and lo and behold, that's a lot of plastic. I mean, look at it all. That's a lot. I mean, where did I store that? I mean, it's cool in its own way, but wow, that is a lot of decor. And here is a center shot of it, I guess, with their lovely little plastic Mrs. Santa Claus and his North Pole sign. And I mean, the whole house has it going on. It's a little bit like Christmas Vacation, Chevy Chase style. I gotta say, I kind of liked it in a, I don't know, plastic fascinated sort of way. And in the meantime, my cats, I have 4 cats. I know, like I'm one shy of crazy cat lady, right? At least I'm not like the Simpsons where that crazy cat lady throws her cats, but I might start throwing mine at mice because I have a shed where I store incoming merchandise. All my merchandise that's up for sale, I like to climate control, but just for sake of efficacy and convenience, I do have an outside shed where I'll put items. And I was out there kind of trying to reorganize it, and I think I mentioned the other day on the forums of Scavenger Life, which you should come on down and hang out with us, that I was cleaning the back of the shed, and a little mouse ran out and saw me, and I saw it, and even though I lived in the countryside for a long time, I did not handle it well at all. I just don't like surprises. And the poor mouse ran off, and I went out on my shed, and my cats are just kind of hanging out like, that's funny. So, I don't know. My cats have been pretty worthless ever since. And I have inside-outside cats. So, I don't understand why they are not living up to the task here. But they certainly are not doing what this picture shows. That is for sure. And I don't like using traps, but it looks like I'm going to have to start. I don't think I have a disaster out there, but I did see evidence in a corner of something, so that's got to go. All right, and to start us off, I do Etsy, by the way, so I'm going to show you a few Etsy things, and this is a antimacassar, I think that's how you say it. You would throw this up on your the back of your chair and on the arms. And what I liked about this is kind of like the X's that make up the cat's eyes. I don't know. For some reason, that didn't really catch my attention before, but for some reason it does now. It's just kind of neat. I don't know. Like maybe dead cats with bows on them. I don't know. It's kind of has that Hot Topic sort of vibe, I guess. But I'm sure the person that bought it didn't look into that in depth. Anyway, I sold these for $34.99. Here we have a box of thread. That is a ton of mercerized shades of green thread. And I sold those for $39.99, and they were shipped to, let's see, Russia. Here's another one from Etsy, which I treat like a poor stepchild. I mean, it's, I don't know, it's a shame. Like right now, I don't have much on it at all. But I'm going to pick up the pace a bit on that because it does do well when I pay attention to it. I'm just kind of lazy. You guys know me. Anyway, this is 10 yards of vintage dress fabric. I came across a huge amount of vintage fabric from a company that used to make like, they made gowns, like prom gowns, bridal gowns, all kinds of gowns and dresses from I would say the mid-50s through the very early 90s. They went out of business. It was a family-owned business. It went out of business, and somehow their entire stock of just tons and tons of fabric on the bolt that they had went into storage in a very old tinderbox of a building, of a warehouse, and was totally forgotten about for a long time until someone else bought the property, was trying to get permission to build something onto it, and the fire people came in and looked, and they opened this one area of the warehouse and just saw a wall of just bolts of fabric, and are like, whoa, you got to get this stuff out of here, this is just a disaster. And they freaked out, and they cleaned it out. They took it to this auction that's literally like a 2-hour drive into the middle of nowhere in the mountains of Pennsylvania. And crazy me, I'm going to Auction Zip, and I'm looking around, and I found it, and I went, and I've been going to this auction house ever since when something comes up that I like, because I bought, I would say 70% of it for pennies on the dollar. Anyway, and I love it. I love this sort of stuff. I know, right? It's kind of cheesy. All right, look. 10 yards of dress fabric here. I sold this for $59.99. I know, no one should get this excited over fabric, but I do. I don't know. I just really like it. Anyway, as you can see, this is on the bolt taffeta, like a really cute Barbie lipstick pink taffeta. And there's about 5 yards here. I sold this for $44.99 on Etsy. This is a really cool, almost color change green taffeta. Very common in the mid-50s to mid-60s. You have those little wiggle dresses made of this. Really cute. About 5 yards of this, and I sold this for about, I think it was, let me check, $44.99 as well on Etsy. This is a 1990s Giorgio Armani suit that I sold on Etsy for $54.99. Moving on to eBay now. Here we have a leftover set of, oh gosh, what sounds like a pun. I'm sorry. I did not plan that, guys. I promise. Anyway, this is a food magazine that was put out by Martha Stewart for several years and then discontinued. You might recall several or so episodes back, I sold one large lot of them for like $34.99, I think. This lot is the other lot that I sold for $29.99. So gosh, I need to go find more of these. I didn't realize I did so well on them. Anyway, $29.99, but that did take me about 8 months to sell. Also, if I start duplicating things that I've already showed you, let me know. I'm hitting that age where I'm in that gray area of what I'm going to remember and what I don't, and I try to mark in my program here that I use that I already showed you guys something, but would you believe I'm just remembering that I said literally the same thing like 1 or 2 episodes ago? Boy, that is just a shame. Okay, anyway, Green Bay Packers mug, contacted by a guy who was really excited, really wanted it, and I'm such a sucker. I was selling it for like $24. I lowered the price to $15 and then realized I offered free shipping, and the guy lives in California, so I made no money off that, but he was extremely happy. All right, so now I'm going to show you like a bunch of what I call smalls, I guess. This will be things that sold in the $20 to $25 range. And I'm showing you these because, I mean, for me, I like to diversify. So I know I keep saying it over and over again, but it's really important that you do that because, sometimes sites have problems. Maybe they get some bad PR and suddenly you're like Chipotle or something, you know what I mean? So it's really important that you kind of keep on a couple different sites at a time and try to keep your product range as wide as possible. So this time around, I'm going to show you some, the basic bread and butter. I know we all say that, right? But, just some basic stuff. That's actually most of the stuff I picked up at the Weigh and Go. I know, I love the Weigh and Go. I know some of you were like, ew, but I got, I'll sweep floors, you know what I mean? I'm willing to do what I need to do. And, but more than that, I really enjoy it. I am like a hunter-gatherer type of gal. I like digging around. I don't know what it is. I mean, give me a barn with snake skins and dead animals, and I'm just as happy there as I am at a, Augusta auction up in New York City, going mano a mano with people that have TV shows. I don't know. I love that stuff. Just always have. And I just have no pretense about myself. I'm very self-deprecating. And, the key to life is to just try to enjoy it, So that's what I like to do. Anyhow, I know, too much information, right? So this is a Paula Young wig. It's like a clip-on deal though. Like you clip it to the top of your head or the back to give yourself like a more hair. It's not a whole wig. Came with the box. I found that and a few more, and I sold them all out. And this one sold for $22.55. Took me about 3 months to sell this. And this is a Wawa baseball hat. And it goes without saying, if you know what Wawa is, then you know exactly where this hat came from. And this went pretty fast. I sold this for $22. And here we have a lot of just different presentation cases. You got 3 necklace cases and several pouches and whatnot there. And I thought I would sell these a lot faster. This is probably one of the oldest items I had. It took me like a year and 8 months to sell these, and I only got 20 bucks for them, including shipping them. So at the end of the day, I really only made like maybe 8 bucks off them, but well, what are you gonna do? This is a really adorable styrofoam ornament with some sort of pinecone angel in it, and then on the other side it had some of those 1950s aluminum foil made chrysanthemums, flowers. Anyway, I sold this for 22 bucks. This is a lot of like items you would clip to hats. These range anywhere from like the 50s to 80s. Also, you could wear them as hair clips or accessories, I guess. I threw these all together as a lot from the Weigh and Go that were literally pennies because they're weightless. And I sold these with shipping in about 8 months for 20 bucks. Here's another lot that came from the Weigh and Go. I picked up these patches. The cactus ones I got at the same time, and then the other one I picked up maybe about a month later. And I threw them all together. I had reservations that they would sell. I don't really like listing items for under 15 bucks. I don't know. It's just a psychology thing of mine. But anyway, I put these up for 20 bucks, hoping that maybe if they sold in several months, I'd be fine with that. But not really thinking I'd sell them right away because I had a lot of competition. But I lucked out, and within 3 weeks, they sold for 20 bucks. And here is a small lot of old miniature brass candlesticks that I picked up over time. And these are like really small. They go on like a dollhouse. They're not big. And I sold these for $22. Took me about a year and 2 months to sell those. Here is a brown velveteen muff for probably a child, maybe an adult could use it, that I picked up at the Weigh and Go. Probably mid-century, not that old. Some muffs can be quite old, and they go for, if they're really nice, you can get a lot for them. This one I sold for $27. Here are 2 1950s catalogs. One is house designs, and another is one on rooms in a house, tile, wallpaper, that sort of thing. And I sold both of these for $27. It took me about a year and a half to sell. I actually had them up for a lot more than that, and I took a best offer. So out they went. Here we have a handbag by a company called Mexx, M-E-X-X. And in their heyday, they did a lot of clothes in like the mid-80s to early 90s. And they also got into accessories. I believe it's the same company, Mexx. Anyway, I had this up for quite a while because I forgot the measurements. People kept asking me. I ignored them because I'm a jerk. And eventually someone got over the fact that measurements weren't there, bought it anyway. Turned out they had been looking for this pocketbook for many years. It had been stolen in New York, and they are so happy to have it. And they left me good feedback over it. And I sold this, ended up only selling it for, let me see, $26.50. But hey, it's money, and I'm happy to get it, and I am grateful. And finally, to wrap up this time around, here's a pair of Ralph Lauren, they're like just good old-fashioned sneakers, dark green khaki canvas, rubber bottoms. And the funny thing about them is they had bleach spatter marks, as you can see there, all over them. But for some reason, when I picked them up, some in my brain said, hey, someone's going to like this effect. So I did post them, and they did sit for almost a year, and I ended up selling these for 34 bucks. So not bad for messed up Ralph Lauren polo shoes, right? Anyway, all right, guys. See you out there on the streets hunting for goodies, and good hunting.